Well, I want to address a topic that keeps coming up when I talk to freedom-minded people, and that is, what are some of the solutions that we can bring to the table, maybe that haven't been brought before. And here's what I've noticed. Now, many of us recognize that we have a constitutional republic, and we're not a democracy, okay? But many of us in the freedom community are practicing democracy, and let me tell you how that looks. What happens is that we are alerted to every single bill or issue that we have to muster all the troops together to go down and to communicate to the legislature that we want them to do a certain thing. You see, that's practicing democracy, okay? And for me, in my pursuit of happiness, I don't want to spend time babysitting my representative. So here's the solution. Okay, rather than go down and, when you have a representative, whether it be state or federal, but let's just deal with the state, okay, rather than, here's my suggestion, and I've done this, okay, find out who your state rep is. That would be find out who your representative and who your state senator is, and make an appointment to get together with them. And I would do the same thing with the sheriff. Make an appointment to go down and sit with them and talk with them. Now, don't go down and try to bully and make them do what you want them to do. Go in and investigate. Find out what they think about liberty and freedom. Find out what they think about their oath of office and the Constitution. Find out what they know about rights. Ask them what do they feel is the most important freedom issue in the community, things like that. So you sit down with your rep and if you can, print out their voting record. Now, I did this with a representative here in New Hampshire the other day, went and had coffee with him, and he was a great guy. He sat down, and we went over his voting record, and I asked him, I said, well, here you voted for this, here's you voted against this. What was your thinking when you were doing this and that, and why? And he got a chance to say so. The interesting thing was, he didn't really know why. I'm sure he said that it was for a good reason, but he didn't really know why he voted this and that. And I'm thinking, okay, that's a problem, okay? So, but what happens is that if you determine that your rep isn't serving your purposes or securing liberty or freedom or upholding their oath of office, then the only thing that you must do is communicate to them and say, listen, it ain't working. And I'm going to take all of my effort 24/7 between now and the time there's another election, and we're going to replace you. I'm going to find somebody else who will do that, and we're going to replace you. That is the only thing on the table. Because are we really wanting that every time that they vote, we're going to go in and have to find out why they're voting against us? If a representative is going to vote at any time contrary to the Constitution, whether that be by ignorance or for whatever reason, then it's our job to either instruct them, and you can't instruct them unless they're interested in understanding how to secure rights. If you ask them, have you ever read the Constitution? What's your favorite part? Why are you doing what you're doing? If it isn't to secure liberty and freedom, then they've got to go. And that is the only thing on the agenda, is that they've got to go. I remember being in a certain area where there are 3 county commissioners, and they were always violating their oath of office. They were promoting expansion of government and all these such things. And there were people who wanted me to go down there and speak on this issue, that issue, Agenda 21, anything at all. And I don't have time for that. I don't have time to practice democracy. I don't have time to do that. I want to pursue my happiness. Now, I know there's a certain amount of my time that's required to secure my liberty and freedom. And one of those things is to find a rep who's going to secure liberty and freedom. So that's the only task at hand, is to replace your representative. If they're going to represent you, then they have to secure liberty and freedom. Now, here's the thing. If you live among people, socialists and collectivists, and you don't like collectivism, then move. If you live in an area where there's nothing but collectivists, then move, because collectivists seem to be okay with being highly taxed, having government control, being watched and all that. Then if that's not the place for you to live, go find and let the market bear, find a place where people care about securing liberty and freedom. But let's say where you are, it's not too far, and you believe that there's a community of people who want to be responsible for themselves, their family, and their community. Then that's worth going to your rep and saying, listen, I'm going to replace you. And then here's the trouble that I find. Why is it that we have a difficult time finding freedom-minded people who will run for office? See, I personally think the reason that they don't is because they want to be left alone, and they want to leave others alone. But unfortunately, we don't have that luxury. We have to serve in some capacity in which we secure liberty and freedom. That's why I may run in 2014 for something here in New Hampshire. But nonetheless, I'm saying we have to stop practicing democracy. We have to stop being motivated bill and issue by issue, okay? And we have to just replace representatives, okay? So that's the only thing I think that has to be on the table. And if you could find 10 people, I remember years ago, Senator Smith, I remember talking with him about how to make effective political change. He said that if you can get 10 people to agree on anything in a community, that's political power. And so consequently, if you can have 10 people come in, imagine if you had 10 people coming in and asking a rep, are you going to secure rights or not? That's a simple question. Are you going to secure rights or not? If they say, yes, I am. If they have knowledge, then great. Then we're going to support you, and we're going to make sure you stay in office. If you're not, then we're going to make sure you are replaced. There's no other conversation to have. And that way, here's what happens. If I had representatives and people and my only campaign would be to secure rights and to downsize government and its control, that frees up people to pursue their happiness. Okay? And so what happens is that it's the whole idea of I got your back. So unless you're ignorant of, and which is possible, if you're ignorant of how something may affect change or whatever, then when you say to people, when you have constituents and you're running for office and you say, listen, I'm just going to secure rights, that's it. So if a bill comes through, if it doesn't secure rights and downsize and decentralize government, then it's not going to get my vote. People, when they know that they can count on a rep for that, they don't have to check in on the rep. Now, the rep might want to get together with constituents, come into his area and say, listen, I'm going to have a town meeting. Everybody come and speak. I'm going to tell you where I'm going, what do I see as a concern. That is good communication. But that only has to happen, 4 times a year or less. You get together, you have a nice little barbecue or a potluck dinner, and you have that kind of communication. But that's the rep's responsibility to say, hey, here's what I'm doing, here's where I'm going. So once again, I just want to state this. Stop practicing democracy in which we have to babysit every bill that a rep is going to pass, and we find better reps. And if we can't, then maybe we got to find a better area to live, or we pick an area like New Hampshire has a Free State Project. But if we're not taking ground, then I think we're having trouble. Okay. In another video, I'm going to talk about sheriffs and what I recommend with that. So if you wouldn't mind liking this video or going to my Facebook page. My Facebook page is Destination Freedom. Okay. And if you wouldn't mind subscribing to my channel, that would be great. I'd love to see your support. Anything that you want to ask me on my channel here would be great. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, thanks so much. Take care.